booktube, this is Kelly. Thank you so much for watching my channel, Books I'm Not Reading. I am here today with, I finished a book. I've got a reading update for you, and I have a little haul, a little tiny haul. But I did want to address last week's Friday Reads, in which I kind of talk about the TBR blog. I created a high priority TBR for the year, and it seems like definitely last year, and I also feel like this maybe happened the year before. I get to the summer and suddenly whatever's left on my high priority TBR, I just can't bring myself to pick it up. I'm not quite sure. But anyway, I really appreciated everyone's feedback on how they do or do not create TBRs. I think my problem is that trying to create a TBR for a high priority TBR for an entire year is too much. And so, maybe it should be smaller doses. Maybe, I don't know, maybe I should go for a while without any TBR and see how that works. I struggle with that though, because there are things I really do want to read and I forget about them. So it's like, I kind of need to have them on my little library card as a reminder. First step is going to be getting on Goodreads, which you can find my Goodreads channel down below, by the way. And then just taking, aside from my buddy reads that I have planned for the second half of the year, which I'm definitely sticking to, taking what I haven't read off, and then maybe that will give me some oxygen. So we'll see how it goes. Now, the first book that I want to share with you that I acquired very recently, this is kind of like one of the first young adult books written for young people. I feel pretty confident that it is. I keep saying the author's last name wrong. It's S.E. Hinton, and it's The Outsiders. And I don't know how. I have no idea how, especially after I did the required high school reading tag. And so many of you mentioned The Outsiders. But yeah, I did not read this book in middle school or high school, and I never saw the movie. And I feel like, Stuart, are you reading this in August? I know there's a YA reading event going on in August this year. And so, but look, I mean, it is like in such great position. And I got this in a little free library, you guys. If the people who owned the used bookstores had stopped at that little free library, they would have been so happy to acquire this. But anyway, so, and I showed it to Jason, and he was really excited. I can't remember. He is more familiar with the story than I am. But anyway, so, and I think there's even a stay gold, which is an expression in this book, tag out there. So, but I didn't do it when everyone was doing the stay gold tag, because I didn't get the references because they hadn't read The Outsiders. But now it will be relatively close by. I'm not sure when I'm going to read this, which is true of everything, just about everything right now. So anyway, the other thing is a little gift I bought myself. I had the library's edition of this earlier this year, and then I found out that I don't think this is in print anymore. So this is the complete short fiction of Oscar Wilde. It's a Penguin classic. You know I love my Penguin classics. But there are stories in here that so many of you were like, oh my gosh, you have to read this by Oscar Wilde and read this. And yeah, so I was just really intrigued, but in my Irish readathon event, like this book, the library copy anyway, and another book just got completely neglected. So I might dip into a little bit of this during Victober. Feels like a very Victober book in October, and then maybe dip back into it in March next year. I'm not sure, but I just, yeah, I feel better. I feel better having this. All right, so that's my little tiny haul. I am still reading The Genius of Jane Austen, Her Love of Theater and Why She Works in Hollywood by Paula Bryne. I know one of you out there was, I don't know if you've given up. I think it's Kathleen who's trying to read this, and so I think the problem is the beginning of the book is very, very academic, and I just wanted to scream at the author, like, I get it. Jane Austen loved the theater. She loved writing plays and putting on plays and going and seeing plays performed, and she knew the actors of her day, and like, I get it. So I'm almost to the part where she's going to actually start talking about how Jane Austen's love of the theater had an impact on her novels. So I'm very excited about getting to that part of this book. I mean, it looks like I have a ton left. I really don't, though. I would love to finish this by the end of the month. I'm not sure if that's going to happen or not, but, you know, I've been wanting to read this for a really long time. Again, this is on my high priority TBR. And so, you know, I just gotta, it takes a little bit more patience to really settle in to the book. So we'll see what happens. And I finished a book. Now many of you had comments for me in my required reading tag about my book journal. I've been keeping track of what I read for the last 29 years. So in January, it's going to be 30. And so anyway, one of you said you wanted to see what the inside of my book journal looked like. So there you go. I don't write star ratings. I don't write what I think about it or anything like that. It's really just the month and the books itself. So I'm only to book 23 this year. That's okay. It's okay. It's not a contest, right? It's not a contest. This week, I just had a slow week at work, and I finally finished leveling up, which I talked to you guys about so long ago, it seems. The subtitle of this book is 12 Questions to Elevate Your Personal and Your Professional Development. And I was fortunate enough that my employer purchased this book for me. You can see I have a ton of sticky notes to take notes because anytime I read a book for work, I always write something up about what I got out of it, what I thought was really useful. And the thing that I really liked about this book is that it's not just about your work life, it's also about your personal life and things you love doing outside of work. There's a chapter in here about rest. Most of the books that you will read like this that are like business, professional development sort of books are not going to talk about rest. And as someone who needs a lot of rest, I found that really refreshing. There's also, one of the questions relates to fun. And some of the things that I read in here, I really felt related to my little booktube channel. So that was really interesting as well. But there were a couple funny things that I wanted to share with you. This is in the chapter about rest. And, okay. Says, from executives to interns, there will be different needs for rest. Some of us have done too much unplugging. We need to cancel our Netflix subscriptions and get back to the grind. But other people have been hitting it too hard. They should pause to watch a show or read a fiction book that has nothing to do with business. And I was like, I wanted to be like, Ryan, a fiction book is called a novel. So anyway, it was just like, a fiction book? What? And then, but there was another interesting question here that I wanted to pose to you. So this chapter was about scheduling and really a lot about like setting boundaries, you know, like that your time is valuable. Bryne also quotes a entrepreneur and speaker I've never heard of, John Ron. It says the difference between where you are today and where you will be 5 years from now will be found in the quality of books you've read. I'll just read it again. So the difference between where you are today and where you'll be 5 years from now will be found in the quality of the books you've read. So I think that the speaker and entrepreneur is talking about more books that are of this genre. But I thought that was a fascinating question, and I would really like to know what you think of that question. Like, where will we be as people, as humans 5 years from now? Depending on what we read. That was just a really intriguing idea to me. This is a really, like, it made me actually think about, like, what would, if I made reading goals for 5 years? Oh my God. Like 5 years out, reading goals, what would they be? And yeah, I'm not sure. I mean, definitely one of them would be to read the rest of Dickens. I have 4 Dickens novels left to read, and I have one of them I'm going to be reading in October. So that would definitely be in the 5-year goal. But what else? What else would I want to achieve as a reader in 5 years? So I don't know. Like, I would like to hear what you think. Anyway, I'll probably give this book 4 stars. Ryan Leake, and there's a picture of him here in the back. Seems like a good guy. He's very honest. The thing I found, I think, the most refreshing about this book is that it is not, he doesn't try to write a novel, okay? Which, like, most people in this genre, like, who have some sort of novelization where, you know, everyone comes up with the big ideas, like, that part of the book never works for me. But so he doesn't do that. And this book is 193 pages long. That's it. There's not tons of white space. The font's not huge and enlarged. Like, he said what he had to say. He got to the point. He makes a lot of great points. I think the 12 questions are really interesting questions. Some of them I feel more like are more relevant to me than others. He doesn't mess around. There's no novelization. There's no assessment to take, you know, afterwards. And I found that, like, refreshing, in this kind of book. I know this isn't everybody's jam, and I understand why. But I always try, I'm always trying to have a professional development book at least available, especially in the winter, because sometimes we do get snowed in our house. Anyway, booktube, tell me what your plans are for the weekend. What are you reading? What's the last great book you read? What do you think of the books I'm reading? There's some other things I'm reading on the sly. I'm going to spend some time this weekend looking ahead to the fall and getting ready for some upcoming events that I will have a video about on my channel before too long. But anyway, so thank you so much for watching BookTube. Remember to be kind to yourself, be kind to others. I look forward to talking to you in the comment section down below. If you don't feel comfortable leaving a comment, you can leave an emoji or give this video a thumbs up. Thanks so much for watching. I'll be back soon with another video. Bye.